Hi everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Thrift Store Book Reviews. This channel, as the name suggests, is for reviewing books I found in thrift stores, garage sales, and anywhere else I can get them for super duper cheap. My reviews will include going over the cover art, seeing if I like it or not, the content that I hope to keep relatively spoiler free, and at the end, my unprofessional opinion on what I think about the book as a whole. I'm not keeping to any one genre because even though I have my absolute favorite genres, in the end, I love all types of books. With that all out of the way, let's get started on the first review. The first book I want to talk about is one I read relatively recently. This book is called On Secret Service. It was written by author John Jakes, who is known for being an excellent historical fiction writer. He's also written fantasy books and science fiction novels, but as far as I can tell, his love really seems to be historical fiction. The cover of the book is just okay. For most of it, it looks like someone took screenshots from Ken Burns' The Civil War and placed them on the cover. Then in the corner, we just have some dude, who could really be almost any man in the book, and a woman with a ridiculously large hat, who is most definitely the main female in the story. Below all that black and white, we have the flags of the Confederacy and the Union stuck in a belt buckle, and then the title. I also wanted to point out that John Jakes' name is so big on the cover of this book. Call me crazy, but I don't think the name of the writer should take up most of the cover or be bigger than the actual name of the book. But you know, John Jakes has a reputation of being a solid author, and no lie, if I happen to see his name again in big bold letters at a garage sale, I wouldn't think twice about picking it up, just because from reading the books I know he's a great writer. So I'll just bring it closer so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Isn't his name so big? Like, it's genuinely bigger than the name of the book. And the middle part, not really much to write home about. Not great from my perspective. And I do think that covers are really the window into the book. It takes a really good cover to draw someone in, especially when you are, just getting books for cheap, at garage sales and thrift stores. The first thing that draws you in is the cover. But anyway, let's get on to talking about the book itself. On Secret Service is written during the time of the American Civil War and follows a small collection of characters from both sides of the war. Though we get several viewpoints in the story, the novel gravitates towards two particular people. Our northern hero, Alonzo, who I'm guessing is supposed to be the man on the front cover, and our southern belle, Margaret. Alonzo is a whip-smart Pinkerton detective who firmly believes in abolition, and Margaret is our fiery rebel sympathizer. Both end up, in their own ways, becoming spies for their respective sides in the war. And as you probably already guessed or asked yourself, yes, they do end up falling in love with one another. Other characters that are just as interesting as our main guy and girl, but don't share the same limelight, is rebel cavalryman Frederick and Margaret's union-loving gal pal Hannah. And as you might have asked yourself, yes, those two do end up falling in love as well. We also have other side characters that we don't really get to read from their perspective, though all in all they make the book come more alive. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there are some great moments with these secondary characters who aren't Alonzo, Margaret, Frederick, or Hannah. While the novel does revolve heavily around the events of the Civil War, it is in the same tone a book about spies. And let me tell you, I love a good spy book. The book also doesn't seem to have an agenda or want to make a comment about any prickly subject matter. It's just telling a story about people during this time and what they might have gone through or seen on either side. Lastly, and to be completely honest, I'm not the biggest fan of historical fiction because, I don't really like reading a book that I specifically know how the grand confrontation will end. North and South, Rebel and Union, who will win, just doesn't hit right when you know exactly how every battle and confrontation is going to end. Historical fiction is about the journey, not the ending, which is all well and good. I like stories like that too, but there's just something different about that journey when you know that no matter what leads someone like John Wilkes Booth to shoot Abe Lincoln, you know he's going to succeed. I also want to add a funny thing I noticed in the book, and that is it seems to make Mary Todd Lincoln a shrew. I don't know much about Mary Todd Lincoln, but every time she shows up, she's just being a whiny Karen. And now whenever I think about the events at Ford's Theater, I can't help but imagine Abe being a little relieved he won't have to hear Mary Todd Lincoln whining in his ear. So, all in all, even with it being historical fiction, this book was superb. I couldn't put it down. It was very hard for me to put down. The characters are fantastic. You know what they do and why they do it and what they believe in. It doesn't wantonly vilify people or leave them without clear motives. It has a little action, a little romance, and William Tecumseh Sherman levels of danger. If you're into spies, history, romance, or in general a great read, I'll recommend On Secret Service any day of the week. That's all I have for today, and thank you for joining me on this first episode. I'm Jack Attack, and I'll see you when I see you.